too, probably.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's not good for rafting. I wasn't even thinking about that. I just think of fire season.
That too, more importantly. My friend was driving back to Wisconsin and he said Wisconsin's on fire right now, which like never happens.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Really bad.
not good. Hate fires. So did they have a dry winter or?
Yeah, I guess all the lakes are really low. It's been really strange to see, I guess.
Oh, really? Huh?
Hello.
Are you from up there, Jonathan?
Yeah, I went to college there. My family's from here, but I got a scholarship to swim, so I swam up there. Chief, I accidentally sent stuff to your wrong email. So I have to send you a couple that I sent to Chief at Idaho Springs instead of to your personal one. So I'll fix that.
Okay. Yeah, thanks. Is that for tonight?
Yeah, and also I sent you that COVID information to the wrong address, so you'll have it here in a couple seconds.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Jonathan.
Randy, looks like you're standing in the middle of the river there.
Yeah, we got no water problems up here at 2024 Minor Street.
All right. We'll go ahead and get started. Mayor Mike Hillman is still not feeling well. He had a doctor's appointment this morning. He's battling an infection, and he has been told to stay in bed and take some stronger antibiotics. So he is not able to join us. He's not happy about that. It's hard to keep him down, but under doctor's orders, he's not venturing far from bed right now. So he did ask me to carry on without him, to have this meeting, which is very important to him. And Mayor Pro Tem Bob Boland is with us at this meeting. Bob, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, I'm with you, slightly pixelated. Sorry about that.
Okay.
It's distracting, I know. There we go. That's better.
All righty. And before we get into our usual agenda, I'd like to, usually we start out with Dr. Tim Ryan, our public health officer, giving an update on COVID and other things related to public health. I'd like to introduce our new Chief of Police, Nathan Busick, or better known as Nate. Today is his first day on the job. We swore him in today. Our city clerk swore him in, and also the mayor presented his badge before he went back to bed. So, but we're very glad to have him here. We knew this would be a great opportunity for him to start meeting people quickly, and some of the movers and shakers in the community here. So what I'd like to do is go around the room. I'll just call your name, and if you would just do a brief introduction and your involvement here or your connection in Idaho Springs, and then we'll get started with Dr. Ryan's update. So Chip.
Okay, hi. I'm kind of
Nate.
Nate. There we go.
Or just Chief.
Welcome to Idaho Springs. Looking forward to having you around. You got some big shoes to fill. The previous chief was excellent. So, but looking forward to meeting you in person. It's going to be a couple of months for me because I happen to be out of town. My daughter actually is on this call too. She's just I've just asked her to start joining this meeting. So we'll be going through, and her name is Cody. But thanks very much for joining us. Glad to meet you.
So Nate, ask him where he is. He says he's out of town. You need to know where he is.
I'm guessing an island somewhere.
Yeah, I'm in Hawaii. So I winter in Hawaii these days. I spent a lot of years up in the mountains and in the cold, so I kind of swore off snow.
Fair enough. My parents do the same thing, so fair enough.
Excellent. Oh, and by the way, I own Bojo's, just to let you know, just my connection.
All right, thank you, Chip. Randy?
Yeah, welcome, Nate. My wife, Glenda, and I own the Frothy Cup Coffee Shop across the street from that humble abode that Chip owns. And, you know, we don't live on an island. We live 5 blocks down from the coffee shop. So I aspire to what Chip has been doing. And just want to kind of reinforce what Chip said, that the prior chief did a great job. He was around town, in touch with everybody. And so I know as business owners, we appreciated seeing that. But welcome to town. It's a great town. We've enjoyed being here, and it's a good group of people.
Thanks, Randy. Steve?
Hi, Nate. I'm Steve Rennerhus, and I help run Tommyknocker Brewery down here. I've been in town for about 25 years, and welcome you to come down for lunch someday and get to know each other.
Thank you, Steve. Sadie?
Hi, Nate. I'm Sadie, and I own the Spice and Tea Exchange on Minor Street. And it's very nice to have you here. And I know everybody, as business owners, really enjoyed the community policing that Chief Malinka did, and look forward to interacting with you. And just like Steve, invite you for a cup of tea down at the shop. We're here every day.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks, Sadie. Dr. Boland.
Hi, Nate. Welcome. My name is Dr. Terry Boland, and I am, I think, 6th generation from Idaho Springs. My dad is also on the call, Bob Boland, and I have a primary care clinic here in town. It is membership based. It's much like a Costco membership. I don't accept any insurances, and we are delighted to have you here, and we're excited to meet you in person. And just let us know if there's anything we can ever do to help. We are always welcoming of the police force in town, and we call them for various things. If we smell smoke, or earlier this week, or there was a random dog running around. So there's plenty to do, as well as policing with the elementary kids. So we appreciate you being here, and welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Marcel.
Hello, Chief. Marcel from West Benedum Brewing. I'm the general manager, and myself and my staff are excited to have you in town and look forward to meeting you. Have a great summer.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Marcel. TJ.
Hi, Chief. Great to have you here. I help run Mountain Pride. One of the great people. Well, we have a great staff over here, and previous chief would frequent us quite often. And I hope you do the same. And welcome to town.
Thank you.
Gabe.
Yeah, welcome, Nate. Glad to have you. I've just done a bunch of economic operations and data consulting in the past. So I don't own a business here, but looking for opportunities to kind of volunteer my help for the business community.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Gabe. Alyssa.
Hi, Chief. Alyssa Dinberg. I work for Clear Creek County, so I actually don't work for Idaho Springs, but I oversee recovery efforts from COVID. I'm part of the public health team. I'm also at vaccine clinics and all around resource to everyone on this call. So if you ever need anything, feel free to reach out.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alyssa. Janine. Janine, are you there? All right, how about Mark?
Hello. Hi, Chief. Welcome to our community. I'm Mark Rabel, and my company operates the Georgetown Loop Railroad, which goes from Georgetown to Silver Plume. And in my mind, we're all one big community, even though I'm slightly outside of Idaho Springs borders. But it's incredibly appreciated, the community that Idaho Springs provides us up here too. So welcome aboard. Hope we get to meet sometime.
Okay, thanks, Mark.
Thank you, Mark. Cody.
Hi, I'm Cody. I'm Chip Bear's daughter, but I also do the marketing and sales for Bojo's Pizza up in Idaho Springs.
Nice to meet you. Sounds good.
Thanks, Cody. Danny.
Hey, Chief, I'm Danny. I'm with Interstate Parking, and we currently run the managed parking program in the city.
Okay.
Welcome.
Thanks, Danny. Carla. Oh, you're on mute, Carla.
Hi, Chief. Welcome to our community. I am a licensed architect in Idaho Springs. My husband grew up here, and I have a daughter at 6th grade now at Carlson, and I've been very active her entire career over at Carlson. So I'm super involved and was PTA president for a long time, but we'll be moving on to middle school next year. So but I am also overseeing the construction and design for the Carlson Playground that you're seeing right now, and working on a few other things in and around town.
Okay, great. Nice to meet you.
Thanks, Carla. Cass?
Nate, welcome. I'm Cassandra Patton. I'm the tourism director here with Clear Creek County. So I work with all the municipalities, and I'm very excited for you to be coming on and look forward to meeting you.
Same here. Tourism.
Thanks, Cass. George?
Hey, Nate, congratulations on the hire. Look forward to meeting you in person. George Marlin, I'm a county commissioner, born and raised in Idaho Springs, and live right over here at 1302 Colorado. So
okay.
Every once in a while I chat up your officers while they monitor this four-way stop here. It's a real good spot.
Right. Okay.
All righty. I think that's everyone, I believe. And did I miss anybody other than Dr. Ryan? Okay.
Andrew, I'm here now. This is
Okay.
Janine Kleiner.
Hi, Janine.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
having a little bit of technical difficulties. I'm from Frozen Fire. We run the This is Idaho Springs that you guys see around town, and we're a digital marketing company that help promote our local businesses. So welcome to the community.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All righty. Well, without further ado, I'll turn it over to Dr. Ryan to give his weekly update to this group. Thank you, Dr. Ryan.
Thanks, Andrew, and welcome, Nate. I too am a transplant from the Cheyenne area. Years ago, I used to work for Governor Friedenthal and Meade. Been here since July. I'm the public health director for the county. And I'm on this call because I give them a once a week update, let them know what's going on across the county, the state, et cetera. Answer any questions, that sort of thing. So, but welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
You need any Wyoming, Colorado translations, you just let me know and I'll help you out.
Okay, sounds good.
So welcome everybody. Today I have some good news for you. Over the weekend was able to secure 1,000 doses of J&J. We will be rolling that out to every single one of you and your employees over the next week. You will be receiving sometime today a pre-registration email that you need to get to your employees. It will be sort of self-explanatory. We're having to do it in a two-step phase because people are forwarding the invite to schedule themselves to everyone and anyone they know. And so what's happening is we're getting lots of people we don't want at our clinics instead of the folks we do want, like you and your staff. So it's going to be a two-step process. You're going to receive an email that basically says, send this out to your employees. They need to pre-register themselves in the next 2 days. And then Wednesday night, they will receive a follow-up email based on the registration, allowing them to schedule themselves specifically. In that initial email, it will also say, do you want to come to Friday's clinic in Idaho Spring or Saturday's clinic in Georgetown? Our primary reason for doing that is to understanding upfront how many doses we need, how much staffing we need, how much timing we need to vaccinate as many folks as we're going to have. So look for those emails today, as the first one should be this afternoon, this evening sometime. And then that second follow-up will be Wednesday evening to schedule themselves specifically for a time during those two periods. It is the J&J vaccine, so it's a one and done. No need for follow-up, no need for any of that sort of stuff. So anybody that is 18 years of age or older of your employees is eligible to get that vaccine. Under 18, and we don't have the Pfizer vaccine, we're unable to vaccinate anyone under 18 at this point. Any questions on that so far? So our two clinics are going to be, as I said, Friday in Idaho Springs and Saturday in Georgetown, trying to sort of do both ends of the county. And then we're going to be doing some other very specific on-site vaccinations at certain businesses, just given sheer numbers, et cetera. But those folks already know who they are. And this is sort of how we're going to roll for now. As far as cases are concerned, unfortunately, nothing has changed for the good. We are still about 10 cases, 12 cases a week. Our incident rate is at 175 per 100,000. So that's actually sort of stayed the same, although last week we did not have community testing. So Chief, we have community testing in the county every Tuesday in Idaho Springs, right up on 103, just right outside of town. Anyone is welcome to come, free of charge. No need to pre-register, just show up and get tested. They do nasal and saliva testing there, totally free of charge. So our case counts are the same as they have been in terms of test positivity. It's still hovering around 5% or 6%, although last week's lack of testing lowered that. So it's sort of artificial at this point. Across the state, unfortunately, we can continue to see an increase in cases and hospitalizations. The B117 or the UK variant, it's wreaking havoc both in Colorado and across the country. The problem with this is it's now affecting the 20, 30, 40, and 50-year-olds, as I said last week, and putting far too many of them in the hospital, particularly given the fact that these are healthy folks, more or less. It's far more transmissible, as I've stated, but far more likely to end those sorts of folks in the hospital than the original COVID-19 that we were dealing with months ago. So precautions are still needed. Masks are still needed. We have had 10 plus individuals who post-vaccination developed COVID. It is likely they had exposure just prior to vaccination, a few days before the vaccine, and or in that 2-week window between first and second dose. So for the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, one of the good things about it is you get to that threshold of immunity much quicker than you would with the Moderna or Pfizer. In that 2 weeks post-vaccine, you're now up to that 85% efficacy rate, whereas the Moderna and Pfizer, it's 6 weeks before you get to that because you need to be 2 weeks post your second shot. So immunity is going to be going up real quick across the broad community in the businesses. Nationally, similarly, numbers are going up. People are traveling more than they have at any point in the last year. Lots of people believe that their vaccine has given them the free ticket, and the rest of us are just sort of left until we can get enough folks vaccinated. The problem with that is that not enough people are vaccinated in this country, in this state or in our county, for us to sort of exhibit that sort of behavior. So even once your employees get vaccinated, they're still going to need to wear a mask and socially distance and do everything they've been doing. We're going to need another 6 to 8 weeks, realistically, to vaccinate the majority of folks in this state who want to get vaccinated and in this country for that matter. Currently 2 to 3 million people, although a record was broken yesterday, 4 million people were vaccinated yesterday. But we're going to need some time to get the numbers up to where we need to get them before we can go back to business as usual. We're not quite there yet. Any questions on any of that? Randy.
Looks like Randy has a question.
Yeah, the question that I've got is I haven't really paid close attention to what the governor has done with a mask mandate. Could you kind of let us know how that potentially or does affect Clear Creek?
Yeah, I can't explain his thought or rationale behind it. And I specifically asked the head of CDPHE on Friday if she could explain his rationale. With no judgment, I said, I just want to understand, and my peers want to understand what the governor is thinking, because there's no economics to people wearing masks. There's no economic downside, I should say, to people wearing masks. And his drumbeat has always been economics, economics, economics. I get it. But removing the mask mandate isn't one of the things that needs to be done. So what the governor has done is he's given counties, those counties that are in green, and you'll find out why this is sort of silly in a moment. He's given counties in green the option to opt out of the mask mandate, which is about half the counties in this state are no longer have a mask mandate. And then he's given a zillion exceptions around the mask mandate. So what it's in essence done is gotten rid of the mask mandate. Although he hasn't done that yet, he's created such a confusing paradigm that most people don't know which way is up. In Clear Creek County, and he just signed on Friday, or I don't know which day, the other day, he signed the mask mandate extending it one more month for the other counties. Now, having said all of that, he is intent in 2 weeks' time to remove completely the dial, the framework and the paradigm which we've been operating under for the last year. It's only going to create additional confusion. Now people don't know where are we at, which way is up. Public health directors across the state have asked him not to do either of these, get rid of the dial and or get rid of the mask mandate. But as Director Ryan pointed out on Friday, he is the governor and he decides. So that's the logic and rationale behind his decision making. As far as Clear Creek County, it is going to be my recommendation that we remain across the county, have a mask mandate beyond through May at a minimum. That will help us do several things in our county. One, it will help us keep schools in session. And schools have been in session, as you're all well aware, for the most part this entire year. It's going to help us keep them in school and continue to keep them there through the end of May and through the end of the school year. The other thing it's going to do, it's going to give us those 4 to 6 weeks I just talked about to help protect and further protect our community. It's going to be frustrating as hell, I think, as Marcel pointed out at one point, because every county is going to have a different take on this. And Jefferson County might have one mandate and Clear Creek has another and Summit has another and Eagle has another. I'm on a call this afternoon or evening with the county commissioners from both Clear Creek Route, Eagle, Summit, Grand, basically all the mountain communities who have ski resorts. And we're going to come together and try to have a cohesive plan that all those counties share so that it isn't a piecemeal when tourists particularly go from one county to another, they don't know which way is up. So we're going to try to put together a coherent plan that all of us are at least on the same page. And I'm 100% sure all those counties agree with the mask mandate from the public health director's perspective anyway. We'll see what the commissioners think on the call this afternoon in terms of that. But our intent is to keep it in place in those counties at least through May and really try to get us through this next window. This variant is, it's spreading like wildfire. And the only thing that we have that's effective against it is the vaccine and masks. Those are the only two effective tools that we have in our toolbox to address it. And so we think that we need both of those in combination. Vaccines alone aren't going to do it. We can't vaccinate people fast enough. We're trying our hardest, but we're not able to vaccinate them quick enough that we still need that stopgap of the masks to help keep us from sliding backwards. I don't want us to slide backwards from a health perspective, and I certainly don't want us to slide backwards from an economics perspective, which I'm sure I have complete agreement in this group on that sentiment. Any questions?
Any new information on social distancing or lack of from any?
No, I tried to read the tea leaves with the governor, but he is very difficult to read in terms of what he wants. He claims he wants to give counties independence and freedom, and I'm sure that's the last time you'll ever hear that from the governor. I don't really think he wants to give counties independence and freedom. He wants to sort of pass the buck on to others. So I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know what getting rid of the dial is really going to look like. We haven't had any insight yet from them. Public health directors have met with the head of CDPHE in the governor's office many times and shared with them and expressed with them our beliefs, and they seem to be systematically ignoring them. So I don't know what's to come. We'll have to wait and see. But the mask mandate, I know, is in place for at least counties who are not in green until May 2nd or 3rd or whatever it ends up being, beginning of May. Sadie, you had your hand raised?
You answered it in your question. So basically, if the dial is removed, it's going to be passed to the counties to decide what regulations we want to put in place to protect our visitors and our citizens, is what you're thinking may happen?
Correct. That's what we've been told. I don't know what we'll see what comes to fruition when the governor makes his decision as the executive. I wish I could tell you, but that's the sentiment and that's the message we've been receiving from the governor's office.
I think I can clarify that a little bit. So counties have public health order authority. And so when the state drops, chooses not to use the tools that they have, then we have the opportunity to use the tools that we have.
Any other questions, comments, concerns?
All right, thank you, Dr. Ryan. Appreciate it.
Yep.
As always. That's great news about that shipment of 1,000 vaccines. That's wonderful. That'll make another big dent in the vaccination process here.
Really quick on that, Andy, if your business has not filled out the survey and you want a vaccine, please do that before 4 p.m. today. I've called several of you and left messages. Unless you filled out that survey, we don't have you listed to receive a vaccine this weekend. So please do that. I will put the link to that form in the chat.
All right. Anything else for public health? Okay. Thanks again, Dr. Ryan and Alyssa. Appreciate that. Okay. Well, what we do next typically is just go around the room and hear from each person as to what they saw this weekend and this past week, what's on your mind, any questions, just share information, and then we'll wrap up. Chip.
It was a good week. Actually, looking at our numbers from this last week versus 2019, it was, I think, maybe the first week that we actually had an increase over 2019. That was a fairly good one. So that was good. Helps to have good weather in that. So yeah, things are moving along, I think.
That's great news. All right, Steve.
Yeah, of course, beautiful weather. We had a super strong Saturday. Parking issues, of course, that's normal. And then Sunday was a little softer, and I drove around town and there was some available parking and stuff. So I don't know, it seemed like the weather was so nice in Denver, people might have stayed down a little bit. We are finding that we have to explain the different mask things to more people coming in, because the rumor is masks are being dropped, but we are educating our front of staff up there so they know that we do have masks mandated for us. They were working really good out back this morning. I showed up to work and they were out back cranking away on the back parking lot construction. Then all of a sudden 11 o'clock came and it's been a ghost town back there. So I don't know what they're doing, but it's not happening very fast. And also I was going to offer, if you guys need any volunteers for Friday's Idaho Springs vaccination thing, let me know. I can try to round some people up for parking or whatever. That's it.
All righty. And John, do you see that note about Lindsay? John Keane?
Yes, just let her in.
All right, thank you. Okay, Sadie.
Yeah, it was a good weekend. I agree with Chip. We actually compared our numbers to 2019 and are finally seeing some gains against 2019. In fact, March of this last March to 2019 March was a gain. So it was good to see those numbers continue to increase. Seeing the same thing as Steve, having to double down on masks. We're seeing a significant increase. I don't know if there's something we can do about signage or something, but we are seeing a significant increase in people not walking in with masks, not having masks, not thinking they need them anymore. So I don't know what we want to do, maybe a little more signage around town, saying that we're still under a mask mandate. We definitely saw that increase. And then do we have an idea? Have they given us a timeline on the parking lot at all?
We're still hearing their goal is to be done before Memorial Weekend. That's everything. But this project has been pretty unpredictable, so stay tuned. But all righty. Let's see. Bob, do you have anything to share with the group?
No, I don't really. I'm mostly just observing today, filling in for Mike. I've attended this meeting, I think, only twice in about a year, but I'm learning a lot here. So I want to also welcome the police chief again. We have met before.
All righty. George?
I don't think I have anything to add either. I know last week I kind of went on and on about various stimulus money, and those conversations are still going, but I don't really have anything new to report.
Okay, thank you. Randy?
Yeah, I mean, I'll kind of reiterate what Chip and what Steve said. Really, for us, the last 3 weeks have all been reasonably good. And we're also comparing into 19 now instead of 20. And all 3 of them were a bit ahead of 19. So it's a clear sign that people are coming up the mountain. I'm really not sure what to expect in April. I mean, normally we begin to really slow down, but with the pent-up demand and stimulus money and all the different variables that are there, I have no idea what to expect for the balance of April.
Good, thank you, Randy. John, you have anything to share with the group?
Yeah, I had put in the chat that last year we created those social distancing signs that we posted around downtown on corrugated plastic, and we ended up getting a really good price on those. And if that's something we want to look at, I could get some pricing and a new design to say whatever we need to say or whatever on those. And then also, this is the 50th meeting of this group, so we are approaching 1 year of meetings of economic recovery. So
that's amazing. Hey, and Alyssa, isn't there also a sign that's kind of on the website, maybe the county website, that's geared towards posting on doors of businesses? Am I right about that?
There is, yeah, and I'm happy to email that to the group.
Okay.
I'll do that today.
Thank you. I know some businesses had that sign, but maybe if we just refreshed it, that might help everybody.
Yeah, I'm happy to send that out. And if there's any other signage that you need, just let me know. We have access to every sign you could ever imagine. So just let me know about that. And if anyone needs more hand sanitizer or face masks, we still have stuff. So just reach out to me. I'm happy to get you those. I'm happy to get you more social distancing floor stickers. We still have all of that remaining. So just reach out if you need more.
Thank you, Alyssa. All right, TJ.
Just glad to hear everyone had a great weekend and spring break. We were no exception to that either. So that's encouraging. From 1918 numbers, even going back, this is our best spring break we've actually ever had. So
wow,
it's encouraging. And I mean, since 2016, but I'm really happy and excited for the summer and getting this proposal through. And I think it's just going to be a great thing for the community.
Thank you. Marcel.
Same all around. Had a great weekend. Looking forward to the shoulder season being better than 2019. 2018 we have a lot of snow here, so it's going to be easy to beat those with sunny days. Andy, this could be a conversation for offline, but I mean, any and all updates for that parking lot. That's going to really affect when I'm going to decide to pull the trigger on moving those barrels. Because I know I texted Mike this morning, so it looks like it's going to be about 2 more weeks at least until they do any kind of repaving, correct?
Oh, at least I would say yes.
Okay.
They still have some underground work to do, and they're still working on the westbound barrier there.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, I mean, yeah. Other than that, I mean, everything's moving along, and I'm really looking forward to seeing this the street closure thing going on. John, is there any update on what we were talking about before with doing possible shading for the whole street, or is that kind of super preliminary?
Have a really great structure to do that. So just for a little bit of background, we had talked about, could we put shade structures over the mall potentially, or in certain areas on the street? And one of the problems is just the anchoring issue and the wind. So that's about as far as I got with it, is when we got to that point. Same thing with the Tivoli lights that happened a couple of years ago. But we could definitely have that conversation if people are interested.
Yeah, I think the shade is going to be a major factor for this summer. Looks to be a hot one on the books. So, but yeah, great weekend. Looking forward to killing it this summer.
Very good. So, Chief Busick, it wasn't all positive news like this over this past year, as you can imagine, and really you're bringing us good luck because we're getting more positive news at this meeting than we've had in a long, long time. So thank you.
That's good to hear. I'm glad that folks had a good weekend and probably a good week with spring break and everything. So that's good to hear, guys.
All right, Dr. Boland, do you have anything you'd like to add?
I just want to echo public health recommendations. Please, everybody, wear your masks, social distance as best you can, and hand sanitizing. And how many masks and how much of the hand sanitizer is left over, Alyssa?
I haven't looked at the, but we do have plenty left. If you want it.
Okay, that's great. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Carla.
Andy, you've got a couple of hand raises. If you want to
Oh.
hit those maybe first.
Sure. Randy, thank you.
Yeah, I've missed the last two calls. So can you just do a very quick refresher on our timetable for Minor Street?
Sure. In talking with CDOT, the concrete barriers will likely be moved by CDOT that first week in May, just based on their schedule. So we moved that up one week from what we initially talked about. And but the intent would be to close the street after, as the barriers are being moved, then the street would be closed. So, and then it would give time for the various businesses to set up operations for the summer. So that's the current thinking. The mayor wanted me to let you all know that we hope to have a sample or a prototype of the metal barriers by our meeting next Monday. So those are beginning to be fabricated. And did you have any other questions in particular, Randy?
Just to follow up on that one. So it sounds like that by the end of the first week in May, Minor Street's going to be closed in both directions based on when they remove the barriers.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yep.
That's it. Thank you.
Now, certainly if this group has, I realize that's not what we originally discussed. We were originally thinking of shutting down Minor, before Memorial Weekend. But we do have to get those concrete barriers out when CDOT's available to move them with their low boys and their special gripping equipment for the Jersey barriers. So if there's other thoughts about how we want to handle those few weeks, we're open to those, and we still have time to make adjustments. And this group has been very good about being flexible and adapting. So please let us know if you have other thoughts that might work well during May. The flowers are being delivered the first week in June. Am I right, John? That Thursday, I believe, is the target date in June, first Thursday in June.
That's correct.
We decided not to try again right before Memorial Weekend because we always seem to get a cold snap or have to delay it. So we just decided to wait one more week. Let's see, any other updates? I think those are the highlights. Public Works is still trying to get some concrete repair work done during May on some of the curb, particularly on the south side there that's so damaged. So we're trying to get the final specs for that work and get it out to bid and get that underway. It shouldn't be a huge project, but we just want to do it when we have that window of opportunity during May before things get real busy. All right, TJ.
Yeah, you answered most of my questions. I had the same questions Randy did for the most part. One thing I could suggest, I don't know if the county or city has a street sweeper or anything like that, or if we could have a couple cleanup days on the street, just kind of rid ourselves of winter. That could be a thing. Everyone just kind of take responsibility for their areas.
Yes, I think one of the thoughts would be during May, when those concrete barriers are removed, that would be a perfect time to get the street sweeper out and to do some extra cleaning in that downtown area. So I think that will happen. So, okay, let's see, where were we? Marcel, have we gotten to you yet? No, Carla, we gotten to Carla. I'm sorry. Gabe, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
No, I was expecting to have March traffic data by now, but they haven't put it up yet. But kind of like everybody's saying, I think it's probably going to beat 2019, and we'll stray from the trend of 2020 by a ways.
Okay, great. Janine, anything you want to add?
Nope, I don't have anything at this time. Thank you.
Great. Okay, Mark, anything you'd like to say?
Well, the reservations for the upcoming season are tracking about 80% above where they were in 2019.
Wow.
And checking some other areas in the state whose tourist season is actually opened up a little more than ours, they are incredibly busy. So I think we will be really busy. I know that George and other commissioners, along with public health, are trying to figure out about the mask mandate. I think a consideration is whether it's an inside venue or an outside venue. And I know that that is going to be in their thoughts. We feel as though we're going to be in quite a quandary being an outside venue, and people, as the mask mandates are coming off around the country and around the state, it's going to be harder and harder to keep the masks on when people are outside on the train. So we'll do whatever we can and follow whatever is prescribed, but it's not going to be easy.
Mark, would you repeat that percentage increase over reservations over 2019?
Sure, it's right about 80%.
80. Okay, that's a stunning number.
It really is, and it's still really early in the season, but I think it shows the level of interest in people wanting to come up, and the other venues are showing that. One of my friends operates another tourist train in Colorado, and they don't shut down in the winter, and they've just been packed at 50%, but still much more than they were in 2019.
Excuse me, I need to run and put my now hiring sign up in the window.
Well, yeah, and absolutely. And I think we all know that hiring is going to be a gigantic challenge this year, especially.
It occurs to me the new pandemic is going to be cabin fever.
Yes.
Mark, do you have any idea where those reservations are coming from? Are they local, Front Range, or out of state, or anything like that? Any ideas there?
Yeah, they seem to be pretty universal. So not just Colorado. And interestingly, our ridership last year, we actually had more people from outside of Colorado than inside Colorado. And part of that is because we didn't run the Santa trains, which brings more people from the Front Range and skews the results a little bit. But even comparing basically the 4-month season that we ran, we had more people from out of state than we did in state last year. So I'm thinking it's definitely going to keep trending that way.
Sadie?
I don't know. I think everybody in town is still experiencing this, but we're having some hiring issues, a lack of hiring pool. I don't know if we want to consider maybe thinking about some kind of a job fair or collaborating and advertising more together as a community or something. But I know that I'm not the only business in town that's struggling with employees. And so I don't know if we can find a way to be creative about that, but the hiring for the summer, if we're all stuck in the place we are now, we're not going to be able to keep up with the traffic that's coming our way.
Hey, this is Lindsay. I've been thinking a lot about that as well, just as far as what CCDC can contribute there. And one question I have is, we every once in a while will jump onto the LCC meetings. I don't know if there's something the county is able to do with the prospector. We had talked about maybe bringing people up from Lakewood, Golden, going down in the morning and bringing them up for the day, and having a couple shuttles running for people, and doing a marketing effort down there for employees, because it's really become a challenge for everybody. I know the other thing is, identifying J1 housing. And, obviously we can't build some housing by the summer, but potentially opening up a program where families can open their homes up in the county to J1s. I've seen this done before, and it's like having an exchange student. So they're not having to cram into motel rooms or just not be in our area because they can't find lodging, and maybe we can take advantage of more J1 opportunities. But I definitely think it's something that needs to be addressed by summer, because we really have had some issues, even more so lately.
Okay.
It's been front of mind for me too. I just keep hearing about it. I think it's, among the next challenges that we have to solve. Maybe we dedicate some time on the agenda next week to just share thoughts. I mean, money can't solve every problem, but there is money, and maybe there's some ideas that we can come up with to put some money to help figure this out.
Okay, we'll add that to the agenda for next week. Dr. Ryan, did you have something to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, if you do have folks who are currently not working for you, but you're going to be reaching out to them and bringing them back, get them signed up for the vaccine clinic as well. And then as you bring individuals on and hire them, if they haven't been vaccinated, please reach out to us and we'll figure out a way to get that done if that's what they want.
All righty. Okay, Danny, do you have anything you want to add? Or Lindsay, anything else you want to
Hey,
add?
Sorry.
Nope.
I hear.
Oh, go ahead, Danny.
Yeah, no, I wanted to add that it was a really good weekend for parking. We saw a lot of traffic this over the weekend, probably the busiest since COVID. So lots of people traveling up into the mountains.
All right. Lindsay, did you have anything else?
I don't think so. Just seeing the same trends as everyone else. And yeah, I love the idea about continuing to brainstorm on bringing, some opportunities for expanding our workforce. And then the other thing that I would love to discuss more and would like to bring up with my board is having some management training, because I know that there are existing managers, and I just wanted to throw this out there to see if anyone else has similar issues where with just a little more training could be exceptional. I've found that we're really needing some training in how to manage employees. I have someone who's very heavily trained in bookkeeping, but needs some additional help with learning how to kind of handle the day-to-day situations with employees. Maybe there's others that need a better understanding of COGS and how to manage labor percentages and whatnot. So I'd love to talk more as well about how we can kind of get together and maybe bring some trainings for existing managers, or new hires can go through a program as well.
Okay. Thank you, Lindsay. All right, and I might add that this evening at the City Council work session at 6 o'clock, Sadie will be speaking with City Council about plans for the downtown marketplace. So anyone who would like to tune in to that, as you all know, the link is available on our website along with the agenda, and you can watch the proceedings this evening. Sadie, did you have anything you wanted to add to that? Okay, great.
No,
Alrighty.
I'm good.
All right, we're just about out of time. Any final thoughts before we close?
Yeah, just thinking about the mask communication thing. Last summer, we had put up some marquee boards, some, like the solar trailers. Do we think that could be helpful right now, just so that when people are driving into town, they see a sign that says, yeah, you still have to have a mask on. Please don't give your server trouble about it.
I think it would be, George. I really do. If we're able to have a couple signboards here in Idaho Springs, I think we could find a place for them, and it would help us with messaging with public health, and maybe occasionally for other types of messages as we get busier and busier. So yes, if there's a way to make that happen, I think that would be helpful.
Yeah, hey, George, since probably whatever happens for Idaho Springs is going to be a Clear Creek mandate, maybe if we could put it on the highway before the first off ramp for Idaho Springs or something, that way it predominantly says Clear Creek County mask, whatever you decide to say.
Good point.
All righty. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, it's very quickly. I know we're short on time. If you recall, at the Valero station, I believe it is at the Central City Parkway, that is a reader board down there that can be changed. And I believe somewhere hidden in the permit that was granted many years ago, that they are supposed to have a certain number of public service announcements that, as far as I know, has never been enforced or even asked. So, and there have been about 3 owners in the meantime. So that might be a possibility we need to look into. They are in the city of Idaho Springs, and it's a signed permit from the city.
Thank you, Bob. All righty. Well, thank you, everybody. And we'll see you back here, if not before, next Monday.
Yeah.
Thanks, Andy.
Aloha.
Bye.
Bye-bye.